PSD EdTech Coaches Podcast, Season 2, Episode 6, The Power of Thankfulness. With today's guests, all of you. Welcome to the PSD EdTech Coaches Podcast, a podcast for educators by educators that love to equip teachers, ponder, and discuss current issues and climate in education. With your hosts, Dan Hopman and Steve Stuckey. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are so happy and grateful that you have joined us here today. I'm Steve Stuckey, along with my other host.
I'm Dan Hopman, and I am thankful for all of you guys for tuning in. Today we have a great show.
We are recording a little differently in that we don't have the podcast studio with us anymore, so our sounds might sound different. It may come out a little wonky by the time we're done. We're just happy that we have the opportunity to do this. So, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's just that time of year. I'm so excited to be able to finish up our first major part of the school year without any type of days off. We've got Thanksgiving break right around the corner.
I'm very thankful for that break. As a matter of fact, I'm hours away from that break. I can't wait. At the time this gets broadcast, you should be on vacation, putting aside all of your schoolwork for a few days and spend some time with your family. But we made this show all about you guys again, because again, Dan said we're thankful. So you see what we've done? We modeled Flipgrid for you by putting out the Flipgrid so you can see how it works on a student end. It's pretty easy. It can still be and is a great tool for students to be creative, to communicate, to collaborate, and demonstrate critical thinking. I've even got one teacher using Flipgrid to monitor reading fluency. And I'm really curious to know how many teachers are using it regularly. The ways to use Flipgrid really are only limited by your own imagination, and I've seen a lot of imagination going on in that community.
We have said over the last, almost 10 months now, that now is the time to try out new things. I've had some teachers using Flipgrid for the fluency, but I've also had a lot using Flipgrid in conjunction with Edu protocols because they can do things asynchronously. They can actually use something like thin slides to present their Flipgrid, and they only get about a few seconds to do that. So, yeah, Flipgrid really is just a simple way to get a lot of information from your kids very easily.
So, as you said, the theme for today's podcast is thankfulness, gratitude. 2020 has been difficult to say the least, but there's surely plenty to be thankful for. Some are thankful that the elections are over. Well, maybe almost over. Not quite sure if they're over, but I'm sure you'll be thankful when it is finally over, no matter who's in the driver's seat.
It's kind of over. Is that even a thing, like kind of over? I don't know. But I know it's hard to be thankful in times like now. But if we can be thankful now, or in times that are rough and tough in all circumstances, we'll be much happier and have hope that we will get back to some sort of normal soon rather than later.
Yeah, so I read an article about gratitude and thankfulness, Judy Belmont on Lifehack. We'll put the link in our description out on YouTube. And she made note that it is no secret that being grateful is correlated with your life satisfaction and happiness. She quotes a lot of different findings of that, and people would agree. Yeah, we intuitively know and we understand that it's important to be thankful, to have this gratefulness. But when these curveballs get thrown at us, i.e. COVID and teach at home and so on, that mindset sort of just disappears. And also it tends to be easier to be grateful if you're on the winning team, right? I'm sure half the nation might be grateful right now, or when everything's over politically, but the other half might not be grateful at all. That might have just disappeared. So it's always easy when things are going your way. But she mentions that to test the true test of gratefulness and your resiliency is when life doesn't go your way, and do you find yourself losing more than you're winning? You can't get over your regrets, your disappointments, injusticeness, gratefulness is overturned by that sense of injustice. She says all of that uh, really comes down to a mindset that you need to indulge in those positive things rather than all those negative things that you feel are affecting you.
Yeah, one of the points I really liked, she asked this question about whether or not, how you might wonder how you can be grateful, because when things go wrong, what really do we have to be grateful? And I think that's a very important question because I know, like you said, half the country is going to be really happy, the other half's not going to be. What do they have to be thankful for? For me, I try to be the half glass full type of guy. Try to be thankful for things when things are bad or good
But I want
because
the glass full.
I want it full. You're absolutely right. But for me, and a lot of people I know, and she mentions this in this article, when life doesn't go their way, they think they deserve certain things, and that's when they feel grateful. And to me, I don't know if that's a great thing, a great perspective to have. I like the idea that even when things are bad, there's things that I'm really grateful for, like the health of my family or other things that really can make things just happy for me. I don't need things to go my way.
Yeah, it's true because if you think back over your life, just even personal things that have happened to you and or family members alone, not to mention any of the other innocent people out there who have suffered beyond our reach, um, life could seem pretty unfair. But she mentions that grateful people don't expect life is going to give them everything they deserve. And sometimes maybe we think we deserve too much. Maybe that might be part of it. Um, so she also mentioned, though, that grateful people don't have preconditions to their happiness. You know, if this happens, then I'm going to be happy. You know, if this happens, I'm going to be very thankful. If I win the lottery, I'll finally be filled with gratitude.
And I would be full of gratitude, but I'm already full of gratitude. The fact that if I can afford to play, then I'm obviously I can afford that, so I'm grateful for that. Um, having those preconditions, like she calls them, to my happiness. Half of our country is, well, if this guy were going to be president, I'll be happy. If this guy were president, I won't be happy. I can't live my life like that. For me, that's stuff that's out of my control. I want to be able to, I don't need to control my happiness. I'm just happy being me.
And that's a good place to be.
It really is. She also mentions that people who are grateful have realized that they can have the rainbow without the rain. And I guess that's kind of my point with being happy with just being me. I don't have to worry about anything else. They don't have to have that little, was it the cherry on top, to be thankful. They're thankful for what they have, and they're thankful for the beauty around them.
Well, the idea is that you cannot have a rainbow unless it's rained, and so that means the hardships are going to be there. There's going to be some stuff that comes down that you don't really like, and there is a rough side to life versus always everything being golden at the end. And so you have to go through some of that, and you're going to have to learn to be grateful in the midst of it. She also
Absolutely.
mentioned that grateful people have hope. Hope for things. No matter what happens, they don't lose hope at all. Um, Grateful people know that the future is uncertain, and they might plan for the future. They don't try to worry about all of those things that are outside of their influence that they cannot control, like you said earlier. Uh, you know, there's one thing they know. She goes, grateful people have hope that when the sun sets, it's going to rise again the next day. And there's a lot more to life than all of the stuff we tend to focus on, down to the minuscule things that often separates us from other people, because we forget that we're focused on things that are really not under our control, but we're letting it affect our gratefulness of the people around us even.
And I know there's a lot of people who think that, well, there's hope that we're going to get out of this COVID situation. And I think a lot of people get stuck in that looking as COVID as the, it's the blanket that's keeping us all down. And there is no, until we can get out of this, there's no hope for anything else. I think, really taking a step back and just, I think she says in there about having faith to say that there's more to life than just worrying about COVID right now. Look at the good things that are happening. And we're going to talk about a lot of those with our teachers, but also those that are steeped in bitterness and grudges have no space in their heart for being grateful because they're just stuck in that rut of being bitter and just they can't see the sunny side of things. Um, Forgiving others for not acting or being like you had hoped, setting those expectations for people, and maybe you just need to set your own expectations, your own limitations, so that way you can find that happiness.
Well, I like the quote that she used from Buddha. Uh, it said, "Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned." So you got to let go of some things. Yeah, there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of anger out there, and a lot of bitterness over a lot of different things. I know politics and COVID are the number one and two things on most people's mind that they're bitter about. But it's keeping you from a good place of being grateful and thankful. So
Very true.
maybe people need to work towards that a little bit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always come naturally either. I'm not naturally a grateful or thankful person. So me studying and looking at things like this for a podcast makes me reflect on myself a little bit. Saying, there's things that I actually have to work on and keep my focus on good perspectives because I know when I'm not, it does push me to a non-grateful, non-thankful place.
And I like the idea. I like going through this stuff because it does make me reflect. It makes both of us reflect. And I like the idea of that she puts in the article about reading some affirmations, seeking support from others. I think those are great ways to get over any type of anxiety, sadness, bitterness. Don't shy away from that effort. It is hard work. It's hard work to be thankful because we do just naturally want to go look at the bad things. But grateful people do have healthy thinking habits. She mentions that they go by the motto of thinking straight, feel great. They can separate the perceptions from the facts and separate rational from victim-like irrational ways. Basically, saying, well, they just make me mad. I don't like being around them because they just make me mad. Well, sometimes we put that reflection on them, and sometimes we just need to say, you know what? I need to be able to control myself and not other people. All or nothing irrational thinking, such as it's awful or I can't stand it, is reserved for most life-threatening circumstances. I like what you said.
Well, but a lot of people, and so right now in teaching, I can tell you right now, most teachers, and I can safely say that, not having any sort of hyperbole, is that most teachers will say teaching remotely is awful. I can't stand it. But this is not a life-threatening place. We need to be focused that we're thankful that we have the jobs and that we are doing the best we can to affect the lives of children.
Absolutely, completely agree.
Flexible thinking. I think that is always something that grateful people do. They look at things and aren't stuck in their ways. They find other ways to work around issues and problems, and that helps keep them in a right state of mind.
It's very true, and they realize that they can choose their perceptions and have a right to change their minds. It's okay to be upset every so often, but not looking at it. And let me phrase that. Trying to look at things through rose-colored glasses all the time just won't work either. Trying to find that balance and not being stubborn in that thinking. Really being able to be flexible. It's okay to be mad and then change it over to being grateful. It really is. People who love to learn tend to be grateful. I think she makes a great point here because life gives us lessons all the time. It's okay to make a mistake, but as long as you learn from it. Just don't keep making the same mistake over and over.
Well, yeah, because that's the definition of insanity, right? Uh,
Yeah, exactly.
I sometimes think I might be insane, but we've often in education touted this idea of uh, Carol Dweck's growth mindset, and having a growth mindset that you're not defined by your failures and what hasn't. Those should push you towards your successes and have that growth and not get stuck. So even when you make a mistake, that grateful people are going, that's a learning opportunity. Um, all right, I need to change what I was doing, and I'm grateful now that I can have figured this out, right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah, the final thing that she talked about in there is that grateful people will define their self worth by their determination and their dreams, not their regrets and not their disappointments. They're always looking forward. Grateful people are looking forward, they're not focused on the things that have failed them in the past.
My favorite thing that she writes in this entire article is this last sentence that she puts in. It says, positive self esteem sets the foundation for gratefulness. We got to like ourselves first and be okay with us. And then we can sit there and that kind of sets that foundation for the gratefulness. And so, really look at yourself. If you're really that unhappy with yourself, maybe you need to talk to someone. Maybe, we had Ronald others on last week or our last podcast, one of our sites in the district. Maybe, talking to someone might help move that self esteem into a positive framework.
Yeah. Focus on your little successes is the way to start. None of us are perfect and are ever going to be perfect. But if we think that we need to be at that point of proficient in whatever we do without learning and stumbling along the way, you cannot let that affect your self-esteem. My teacher friends in my school are so far advanced in what they're doing with technology, and so, well, why are you putting yourself down? Look at what you are doing for the students, and then if you want to improve, have that flexibility, a growth mindset. Do it a little bit at a time, because when you try to do it all at once, I guarantee you there will be a lot of failure. And if you let failure determine whether or not you are going to, how you feel about yourself, it's going to determine whether or not you're grateful or thankful as well.
Very, very true. So we've had the opportunity to ask you guys to help us out and tell us what you are thankful for.
So we've had several teachers, two of them from Shadow Hills, Carolyn Simmons and Kathy Brown, tell us about how they are thankful for their school staff and the administrators that which they work with.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Simmons, learning support teacher at Shadow Hills, and I'm very thankful for our administration and all the positive messages they send, for the teachers and their collaboration and cooperation and sharing ideas and lessons, even across different schools in our district. I'm thankful for the endurance of our students, and they keep coming back through all those Zoom links they have to find. But mostly, I'm thankful for all the educational companies that have been putting out free webinars. I find them inspiring, encouraging, and really supportive of my job. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Brown. I teach at Shadow Hills Middle School. I am thankful that I work with great people, and these great people find ways to teach amazing lessons over and over again. And they teach these amazing lessons through the most difficult times, these tough times that we're currently going through. They're amazing people.
Hi, this is Kyle Johnson from Buena Vista. I'm a third grade teacher. I am thankful that this year my students are constructing their own knowledge. We have a great team. We have been more creative on our end and try to create opportunities for students to interact and really feel part of a community.
Melissa Shields, one of our tech coaches that we work with, talks about who she is thankful for working with.
I am thankful for my team, Steve, Dan, Jerry, Chris. You guys are awesome. You rock. You support me. You encourage me. You lift me up. Thank you. You guys rock.
As instructional coaches first and ed tech instructional coaches second, there are teachers that are thankful for all of the assistance that they get, and we love coming alongside people like Felicia Doncourt.
Hi, my name is Felicia and I'm at Shadow Hills, and I'm grateful for EdTech coaches and for instructional coaches who have helped us throughout this semester. You've made my life easier, and I'm definitely appreciative of parents that have been supportive.
And we thank you, Felicia. We also have some that are just thankful. So Kathy Hutzel over at Cactus and Dr. Ruth Hirsch over at Desert Willow talk about how they're just thankful for very many things.
Hi everyone, Kathy Hutzel here. So I wanted to record a Flipgrid to tell you that I am thankful for 3 things. I'm thankful for the ability that I'm still employed, the fact that I have wonderful friends at school, and the third thing that I am expanding myself in a way with technology that I've never had before, and it's making me a better teacher. So I'm thankful for everything. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Good morning. First thing I'm very thankful for is that I still have a job, which is, pretty incredible during this global pandemic. But I'm also thankful that I can reach out and help the teachers and that I can see the kids through Zoom and that most of them are doing pretty good and doing their very best. So there's a lot of things to be thankful for, and I'm thankful for that most of our district is pretty healthy.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Heathcote. I teach at Tamarisk, 4th grade dual immersion. I am most grateful for no one interrupting reading groups. I am loving small group time on Zoom because it's just us. There aren't other people interrupting or needing us. And so I really get to focus just on our reading and how we're changing it.
That can be a pain. What an opportunity just to meet with a group and not worry about the rest of the class at that moment.
Kamari Muhammad over at Tamarisk and Nadine Luke over at PLP, they talk about just the fact that their students are determined to make sure that their distance learning is successful.
I am thankful that despite COVID, my students and I are continuing to persevere. We are continuing to learn. My computer skills have increased tenfold. Their computer skills have increased tenfold, and we are progressing. And that is enough to be thankful for.
Hello, my name is Nadine Luke. I'm a 5th grade teacher at Palmdale Learning Plaza, and I am just thankful for life, health, and strength, and the ability to still teach my scholars. Thank you. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving break.
We've always mentioned in education for a long time is that a lot of teachers, and the trend is changing a bit, but a lot of teachers tend to be on an island. They sort of stick to themselves. What happens in my classroom is what happens, and I'm not really too concerned about what happens in yours. But as this has gotten rolled on, and as time has rolled on, mindsets have changed, and people are really thankful that others are starting to share more with each other. We heard from Ruth Wilson and Tia Yates from Ocotillo and Dos Caminos, respectively, about just that.
Hi, this is Ruth Wilson. I teach 2nd grade at Dos Caminos. I'm thankful for all the teachers who share with each other so that we don't all have to reinvent the wheel. I've been blessed to have some great people teaching 2nd grade in dual who share wonderful things with each other that help our students do their best.
I am thankful for all the educators who are sharing their distance learning experiences online. It keeps me inspired and it motivates me to up my game.
Thanks, Ruth, and thanks, Tia. You're absolutely right. These times where we used to sit on the island, we've got to share now. We really do. And because of that technology, Candace Ibarra over at Dos Caminos and Kate Amaro over at Sage really take a look at the technology and really are thankful that the students have something that they can use to interact with them every day during distance learning.
Hi, I'm Candace Ibarra. I teach 7th grade at Dos Caminos. And what I'm thankful for in education of 2020 is all the technology that I'm learning that I probably wouldn't have taken advantage of before. So the Google certification, Zoom, all that, I'm very thankful that I can apply that in the future.
Hi, I'm Kate O'Mara, and I'm at Sage Academy. I teach 6th grade English this year, and I am most grateful for Google Classroom and the documents where the students can, on the right-hand side, post questions and comments to me. That way I can get back to them in a meaningful way, answer their questions, and just check in and make sure everything's going well.
I like the fact that Candace mentions that she has learned things she probably would have just ignored, except that the fact she needed to learn these things now.
Very, very true. No, she's absolutely right.
Necessity is the mother of invention, I guess, right?
That is so true.
Or necessity is the mother of, I've got to learn this now.
And that's true as well.
Lisa Fellers from Cactus. I don't know if I'm thankful for this. I can guarantee this, but she says this about working at home.
Hey Dan, hey Steve. It's Lisa Fellers from Cactus, and I guess what I'm thankful for in education in 2020 is the fact that we get the choice or the option to work from home, or we can work from school, go into school and work from our classroom. Because sometimes we just got to get out of the house, and other times we just want to stay in the house.
Thanks, Lisa. And for me, I know I miss, even though it wasn't a very long commute, I do miss that few minutes of drive time to decompress and just go from work to home life. So for me, I'm kind of in the middle. I like the idea I can get up and walk in the office, but I kind of like the idea of having that decompressed time on the drive home.
Yeah, well, see, when I was at school, I loved going in and seeing what's happening in the classrooms, watching what students are doing, being able to offer assistance and help and coaching to teachers, which is so much more difficult in this remote learning. But if you need a coach to come be a fly on the wall in your classroom, let me know. I've done that in classrooms this time, during this time. And it's really interesting because, people will say, well, you just don't understand what it's like doing this all day. Well, I love to see it. I'm still waiting to hear from an early childhood education teacher who said she was going to invite me in. I really want to see what 3- and 4-year-olds are like in distance learning, because I honestly don't know how to help that teacher. I need to see it live.
It is interesting. I got to see TK do thin slides, and I'll tell you, I'm thankful that class not only attempted it, but was successful in it. The kids did a great job. So I would be very curious as well how 3- and 4-year-olds are. The 5-year-olds, they were top notch. I was very happy to see that.
Well, I guess we're going to take this into Thanksgiving break. Note that when this is over, you got 3 more weeks, and here comes another break. Try to catch your breath and hope that great things happen over those vacation times for you, your family, for this nation.
But most of all, you guys have been working hard over the last 3 to 4 months, from August all the way to now. You've only had a few full days off. Take the week. Relax.
Yeah, I'd say you've been working on this since last March with just a few breaks off, and that break was probably filled with a lot of anxiety.
And probably trying to catch up on their own home life because they poured themselves into distance learning. So take this week, and then in 3 weeks, take the winter break and really think about yourself, think about self-care, and really relax and enjoy your family. Wash your hands, socially distance, but don't cancel Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family.
And the turkey. I'm thankful for turkeys.
I'm thankful for apple pie and pumpkin pie.